Greetings, Taekwondo family. Welcome to Miami Minutes, the show that forcefully snogs you all 1 minute at a time. I shouldn't say that. This will be used as evidence against us. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And here, flailing on the ground as if he was doing it on purpose almost. It's me, Niall McGowan.
Yeah, we're just going to roll over bosoms, left and right.
I just keep thinking of, like, I know it's a movie you don't like, John, but I just keep thinking of Young Frankenstein and roll in the hay. It's like, this is Angela there, roll on the beach. Or on the boobs, I guess.
That would be an improvement on Young Frankenstein. I'd be up for that, definitely. Although this is very off topic, but as of recording, I just got hold of, because I'm going to have to just tell people and be honest, it's illegal download. History of the World Part 2, because you can't get it in the UK. We don't have Hulu.
Yeah.
So I've got it. I haven't watched it yet, but maybe it'll be all right. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not dumb. Yeah, it's one of those things I hear people talking about. I'm just like, nah. It's just like, yeah, a lot of Mel Brooks stuff. I'm just like, some of the stuff I like, and then some of it's like a lot of it, like, nah, it's just not for me.
I think he's got a great eye for other filmmakers. You know, like, well, he got David Lynch in on Elephant Man.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great like serious producer and stuff. But it's just like, yeah, the actual comedies, I'm just very like, even like the producers, like the first producers, I'm like, it's good. And then, but people are like, it's the greatest comedy ever. It's like, nah, it's not. It's very okay.
Don't go that far.
Yeah. Still, the only version I want to see is the Curb Your Enthusiasm season 4 finale, where they clearly filmed Larry David and David Schwimmer in the producers. It's like, yes. I want to see that whole thing. Like, that's clearly going to be way better.
They should have done that as like a bonus episode, like a special.
Oh, totally. 100%. But, yeah.
But we are here to do our episode today about minute 34. And the minute starts with the baddie patrol, and it ends with pumping iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are back as our rock and roll perverts scour the beach for hotties.
I said, we talked briefly there at the end of last minute about this couple. Again, it doesn't seem very like there's upright. It seems like they're directly beside the car park of the beach, which is like. Although this kind of just looks like people are just parking their cars anywhere in this thing.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. That's I think they're just parking all over the goddamn place. Nobody cares. And, you know, okay, I get it. But if you want to have a nice, relaxing time, don't just literally sit outside your car. Move further down the beach, have a nice walk.
Yeah. But yeah, they seem to be having a great time with making the sand castle, but, like, it's not... Well, not to poo-poo anyone's sandcastle making, but it's not very impressive.
No, it's like the kind of sandcastle I made when I was like 6.
Yeah, but all of the towers, too, are very phallic as well. Yeah. So it's very, like, that's distracting. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm being immature, but it does look like that.
It's
like,
him trying to implant in his girlfriend's head what he wants to do later.
Yeah. It either looks like that or, what do they call that Pokemon? Diglett?
Diglett, yeah.
The Diglett popping up there. Or it also reminded me of in the British comic book series The Beano. Oh. Anytime they draw like bangers and mash, like a big pile of potatoes, the sausages just sticking out of it, always looked like that, basically. So.
Oh, I always loved that because I've never ever seen any human being stick sausages in mash like that.
Oh, I've seen it done. I think they do it I've seen it go to restaurants and stuff. If you order like a good old English pub for pub grub, and you order the bangers and mash. Yeah, I've seen they will put the banger through the mash. So
that's amazing. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I've seen them do it with a toad in the hole.
Yeah. Oh well, it's literally in the name. It's in the hole. So
we will have to explain that to the listeners, won't we? Toad in the hole is a dish that's like sausages and a Yorkshire pudding, but now we have to explain what a Yorkshire pudding is. Oh, this is complicated. It's a thing you have with like a roast dinner.
Yeah,
I don't know how you describe it. It's like a
little quiche, but there's no innards. It's like it's just pastry crust basically.
Yeah, but it's like. Crust makes it sound like it's crumbly, and it's not, though. It's like soft.
It's like it's almost like a spongy texture to it.
Yeah.
They're
the best thing in the world.
Oh, they're great. Yeah. You always see people going out to Carvery, so coming back when you can just put on your own sides and just seeing the mounted high with freaking Yorkshire puddings and stuff.
If I could just have Yorkshire puddings with gravy on, I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
That's it. I'm weird because I love it, but I only ever use a little bit of gravy, and then for some reason, whatever it is in my psychology, as soon as I'm finished food, gravy on a plate is the most disgusting thing in the universe to me. So if I see it, even if it's food I'm eating, as soon as I'm done, and I look at that gravy on the plate, I'm like, like, something about it. It's just like I feel like there is a deep-rooted trauma related to it.
Yeah, something's really got to you in your childhood there.
Yeah, so if I come in and I see gravy in a pot or anything, someone's just left it lying, I'm just like, no, can't deal with it. Just cannot deal with it. So, did notice though, as we're the Beach Patrol cruises past, I'm hoping it's a deliberate thing on whoever owns the car. Because I did see the license plate says 69-4A.
Hey.
So either it's the Fonz himself is down on the beach. But also, like, the 4 annoys me because it's so close to being like 69A.
Oh, maybe it was a requirement, though, to make it road legal.
Yeah. It just feels like, it could have had like a 1 maybe in the center because then it wouldn't look as more... You can kind of ignore a 1. Visually, because it's just like a line, but now there's an actual number there. It's like, it's ruined it. It's ruined the joke.
Yeah, it's terrible. How dare you?
Yeah, but just I wonder, like the Fonz down on the beach though. Is he back jumping sharks? Is he down there? That's what's happening in the background. Is Henry Winkler's there with his friggin' leather jacket on and his beach shorts, jumping over sharks.
Because what's cooler to the kids in the 80s than the Fonz?
Well, I think Happy Days lasted into the 80s. I think
it did. But I don't think, towards the end, I don't think anyone actually thought, oh, yeah, Fonzie's like cool, like Elvis.
Yeah. Once it's in the Ted McGinley era of Happy Days, where it's like, this show is dead. I'm sorry to tell you. But yeah, every time Henry Winkler goes to a beach, he must be like, please, no one mention it. He'd be like Jenna Ortega with that dance. He's just like, I just never want to. Although he did the little joke of it in Arrested Development, though. Remember where he's like on a boat and he jumps off onto the pier and underneath.
That's a little different though. That's kind of making fun of it himself.
Yeah, they put the little shark going underneath him as he jumps across, and it's like that's really. But I think maybe he would be like, no, it's clever. It's a clever reference. Yeah. So I'll get that. But if you want me to be like in the shorts with the jacket, I won't do that. Like he does seem to be weird to Henry Winkler. He's like, I have never seen him outside of Happy Days dressed as the Fonz. He never shows up on like talk shows or in magazines been like, hey, it's me, remember? He's always like, you know who I am.
Well, like, it's probably an age thing now, right? He probably feels stupid dressing like that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he should. Dress how you want to dress. Be cool, be hip. But maybe he's like, no, I'm not a kid anymore.
I wonder if there probably was a call for it in like the 90s or something. But like now we have that 90s show. Which I enjoyed, but like
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, they got like the second season incoming and all that business. But I wonder if there ever was there like a call for like, well, we need a Happy Days reunion, like in 2002. Like, can we get the cast of Happy Days back together and see what they're doing? Or
can we do it now? How many of them are still around?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure like the parents are dead, but then like that's a long time ago.
I only know the main two, of course. I only know Ron Howard and Fonzie there.
I think though Donnie most. I think a lot of them are still around, but like they're just not working. They're fair though; they probably don't need to work because they're in freaking Happy Days. But it's Scott Baio, he's around there.
True, Scott Baio, yeah.
So.
Also in Arrested Development.
Of course, yeah. Well, that was the whole kind of the joke was he was then the younger version of basically Henry Winkler's character. So.
That was genius, I thought.
Bob Blah. Oh, that's one of the greatest gifts to mankind. Bob Blah Blah's Slaw Block.
Bob Blah Blah. Love it.
But yeah. So I'm hoping that this is the Fonz himself. That's what you can see 2 rock bands and the Fonz down here. So.
Oh, what a cool day down at the beach.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is also pretty cool. I thought there's a girl here just chilling out, and she's got a shirt on that says Stewardess School.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, is she an in-training stewardess? Is that what we're seeing, or is it like an ironic shirt?
That's what I was unsure on myself, because it's weird, right? That can't be an official uniform, right? That's that shirt. But I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look it up.
Well, it seemed like, no offense to them, but like, stewardess school doesn't seem like, to me, it doesn't leap out as a thing like, well, you need to go to school to be you need to have a special training academy for stewardesses. I imagine like, I imagine it's a training on the job kind of job. Like you get on there, someone shows you the ropes, and then you just learn it by doing it.
You might go on courses like safety, evacuating the plane and things.
Yeah. But
maybe that's what they do.
School.
Maybe they need like a full mock-up of a plane. I don't know. Yeah.
It seems all of them seems like that would be too expensive, and then they just be like, just go. Like it's like you do the safety training. What does the stewardess do? Is like when you go in, you make sure everyone's like, it's basic hospitality work, and then a little safety routine you'd have to do, and you can just learn that as you go.
You just have to be really what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like a lot of stamina as well, though, because you're on your feet working and you're crossing time zones and things if you go international. Oh,
yeah. I watched Plane the other week, Jared Butler's Plane, and the main stewardess was Daniela Pineda, who's in she's in the Jurassic World movies, and she's in a great movie called Mr. Roosevelt, which is like a fantastic film no one ever talks about. But anyway, but when the plane crashes and everyone's trying to get stuff sorted, I was just kind of like, oh, she's really dedicated to this job, because she, as head stewardess, is still like, okay, she's still in the uniform. She's still like telling people what to do and how the safety measures and all this kind of stuff.
That's what all the training's for. That's the moment.
Yeah, I think in that scenario, I'll be like, fuck it. I'm out. Like, I don't care what my job is. I'm going to panic. Like, we're trapped on a friggin' island with, terrorists or whatever.
You'd be a terrible steward.
Yeah, she's very, no, I'm still committed to the job, and I'm going to assist the captain and all this kind of stuff. So
Good. It's your responsibility. You're looking after people at the end of the day. So it is like hospitality with the added pressure.
Yeah. I also have to note in that film, too, they do a little trick. And it really annoyed me because it was so blatant that's what they were doing, where there's a really stupid moment where they're going through a horrible bit of turbulence. Yeah. And Jared Butler is like, okay, I'll go and check on the passengers, even though the stewardesses are out there doing that already. And in the middle of a turbulence storm, Jared Butler just gets up and starts walking on the aisle. And you're like, this is what you need to be in the chair steering the plane during this, man.
Autopilot,
Yeah. But during that, then he falls and bumps his head and starts bleeding everywhere. And I'm certain the only reason that's written in is because, a lot of the movie, Jared Butler just looks like a captain and doesn't look very exciting. So we have to so when people see stills, we need to make it look like he's been in a fight or something.
Yeah, so, actions happened.
Yeah, so he's got a bleeding wound from his head. But literally all that's happened is that he was a friggin' idiot who walked down the aisle in the middle of a turbulent storm instead of staying in his seat where he's supposed to be. And then he bumped his head because he's an asshole.
And he just starts bleeding at the drop of a hat like he's the wrestler John Moxley.
Yeah, he's just he's full-on Jared hemophiliac Butler over here.
Oh, but no, I did. I looked up. I found lots of flight academies in Florida.
Well, see, that already sounds better, though. Like a stewardess school, it sounds like, what? It sounds
exactly.
It sounds like a crappy 70s sex comedy.
Yeah, like ski school.
Yeah, exactly like ski school. Maybe it is. This is a T-shirt celebrating the low budget. Maybe she worked on that movie or something.
This is the sequel to Ski School, Stewardess School. Well, in fact, as of recording this week, How Did This Get Made reposted their episode about Ski School, and I was listening to it, and it dawned on me: didn't we watch that?
Oh, I believe we did, yeah.
We did, didn't we? Yeah, because halfway through, I was like, this sounds really familiar.
Well, I think it's the Ski School, South Park flat out remade Ski School as an episode.
Oh, yeah, that was a great one.
Because they just thought it was so funny. So they were like, well, we just made that an episode of the show.
Great. But I found flight academies. I couldn't pinpoint which one she allegedly works at. But I did spot a place called Flight Attendant Jumpstart in South Cimarron Boulevard, Orlando.
Oh.
So that was the closest one to where this is, I found. So let's just assume it's that. It sounds right. The school was reviewed by Tess Monster, what a great name, Tess Monster, on Google. And she says, amazing school. If you want to learn exactly what you need to know and not stuff you don't, then Jumpstart is the place. I just graduated, and 4 days after graduation, I had my first offer. They prepared me for everything. How to dress, speak, makeup, all the way to self-defense. If you're serious, study hard, listen, you'll do great. I am 46 years old and just moved from nursing to flight attendant. Anyone can do it. They are amazing, thorough teachers. This episode is sponsored by Flight Attendant Jumpstart.
I have at times thought about, I've been sitting on planes, but I wonder should I apply for being? I could do this. I think. Like seeing the stewards and stuff there.
I think the travel would do me in. The actual work would be fine. If it was like a domestic, I'd be all right.
I think a lot of the times you would be the monotony would get to you. Like it feels like particularly you're going back and forth and back. It's like someone has to do it. God bless the people who are doing it. But like bus drivers, it must be like I get on the bus, I drive around the same circle all day, every day.
Do you think they mix up their routes? Like if any bus drivers are listening, do let us know. Do you change routes? Like for 2 days in the week, you'll do this route, and then you'll swap to this route.
That's what they do. But even that, I think, would still be like really, really boring after a while.
It would be boring, but it's better than. I thought maybe they just do the same one every fucking day.
The things you're not even allowed to like listen to the radio or anything. No. They're just sitting there by themselves in silence for like 12 hours, however long they're there. It's just like, yeah, that seems like that would be a monotonous job.
But I don't mind monotony when you've got a bit of agency. Like my job at the moment, I don't like the workplace, but the job itself, it's monotonous sometimes. But I am free to do what I want with it, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Like I always wanted to be a postman. I thought that would suit me. Like, I can get up early. I don't give a shit. I'm a night owl or an early bird. I'm no. The afternoon, I'm dead. So I think it would suit me. I'd like to just wander around, do my own thing, deliver the letters. But the problem these days is you kind of need to drive because most of the deliveries now are parcels from online shops.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is all the Amazon stuff is like these guys have to zip around all the time, literally. Like But it's like even too
old school postie,
Yeah. I think I even got like myself even recently watching the movies Werewolves Within. It's set out in like a little snowy like town just outside of Canada, I think, and it's got like Milana Vaintrub's character is they call her like post lady, but she's like the post person. Like
in Liverpool, it's the postie.
Yeah, but her whole thing is like you find out her character's like, I just moved here and I just got a job as the post person, and she just literally walks around in the snow with like a little furry hat and just like just hands people their stuff and walks on, and it's just like that looks like a nice job. They're just like chilling in this little quiet town, and just like she gets all the gossip and stuff, and I was like, I love that. But like, and she doesn't have to drive because it seems like it's so small.
See, that'd be ideal. I've tried applying a few times, but it's hard to get in. Weird. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. I
don't know if the people have said that though. Apparently, if you can get in and like ace the civil service tests, you're basically employed for life. Like you'll get something if you can get in, get that test, and then establish yourself. You'll never be out of a job again.
It's like that with a lot of sort of government related jobs. Like my job, I work for the NHS, and I don't want to be there. Basically, I've had enough. I'm like, no. So they're actually looking at moving me. Like they don't just get rid of you. they're like, oh, we'll try and redeploy you. That's the thing. Firing someone in this country is very hard.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think I know anyone who's been fired properly.
No, not the dramatic like 80s comedy way of like fire, like someone throwing out in their ass or anything. It's always been like. No, I don't think I know anyone who's been fired.
It's because it's next to impossible legally. Like you've got to have extreme grounds to do it. But I know in America, it's if movies or TV have lied to me, let me know. But in America, it seems like they can just let you go for any reason.
Oh yeah, it's just like a drop of a hat. It's like you're out of here.
Over here, it'd be like, right, okay, I'm going to the union, and it would become like a lawsuit.
I was weird at that too. Like we're so drastically off track with this minute, but I've really noticed a lot because so many governments, like proper members of parliament and stuff over here have all been getting fired recently.
Yeah,
I always thought sacked was like a slang term, but the BBC News constantly talking about people getting sacked. I was like, is it just the official term? Is it always been? I think
it's just been so overused, it's become that, even though it's not correct.
Yeah, because I always thought you'd have to say like, no, it'd be they were terminated or something, or they were fired. But they always say like, oh, so you got sacked yesterday, and you're like, that sounds like your friend is telling you about, not the BBC News is telling you, this guy got sacked. It's like, that's a slang term. You're not supposed to say that. But
I agree. Yeah, I'm with you. I would say terminated or. I don't know, in sport they say like released. Like in WWE they always say they released someone.
Yeah. But Miami connection.
Yes, well, we were there because we were on the Stewardess school.
Yeah, she got the shirt hitched up as well, which is like, and I noticed she must be trying to like even out because there's a tan line situation happening.
Oh yeah, there's a big mark.
Yeah, so it must have been something that she either like, I don't know. Although it's all pale at the bottom, so I'm wondering what did happen here. Like what's
that's a good point. It's like backwards to what you'd think.
Yeah, you think now she'd be like, oh, I better like hitch my shirt up further so I get the rest of my back tanned. But it's like, no, the bit you had covered is already tanned. The friggin' thing at the bottom isn't. So.
But this is why that Christian fella wanted a nudist beach. He's just thinking of ladies' tans. That's all he wants. He just wants people to have an even tan.
He's just like, I hate tan lines, and I know you hate them. That's on the other side of the placard. Is that? But I do wonder if it was the Stewardess school, though. I wonder if this... my idea was that these people are on, like... They're on a layover. Like, they are all stewardesses together.
That does happen, actually. I know we said going back and forth, but occasionally they'll be like, okay, you've gone back and forth so many times, so you can stay at the destination for 3 days, and then you go back to work.
Yeah. You could say, like, now they've stopped this flight maybe on the way to Miami. You could say they're on their Miami connection.
That's actually the meaning of the name.
Like the original 3-hour cut was actually all about these women, and then they cut it down to be like, let's focus on the random Taekwondo orphans guys.
That was a side plot in the original script.
It used to be a great feminist masterwork, Miami connection about stewardesses, and then they're like, well, people really responded well to the Grandmaster Kim.
It was Top Gun for ladies,
But yeah, and they just. They have a real vibe, but it's like they are just chilling on the beach. The lady lying on the ground there just has her kind of like is not even aware that she's been filmed. Like I get the vibe. Yeah,
it feels a bit creepy, like we're spying on these women.
Yeah, but it's about to get creepier, John.
Oh yeah, because then we get Jack and Tom both pursuing a lady, and I'm not sure just going up and following complete strangers is sending a good message, my dudes. They're just stalking this woman.
No, this is outright. Everything about this is wrong. Like, there's nothing charming about it. Again, this is we asked it last minute, but like, do they even think this is going to work? Like, you can't think that the woman's going to be like, oh, of course, oh, hello, handsome. Like, I love your mullets. It's going to be like, no, of course she's going to tell you to piss off, unless that's what he's hoping. Maybe that's his kink. He's like, yeah.
He's got a humiliation kink.
Love being humiliated. Maybe it's like in Angelo's real life. He's going out with Jane. He's like, oh yes, Jane steps on my testicles every night. Like, that's...
Again, I'm not shaming anyone if that's your thing.
Oh, no shame in it if that's your thing. Don't go out and inflict it upon people in public, though. Like,
that's the problem. It's the lack of consent.
Yeah,
this woman hasn't, consented to being involved in this.
But then, so that's Tom's spin. I always want to call him Angelo, but Tom, it is technically Tom. But then, Jack is like, what's his? Like, I think there's times too. I think he's just there to like get an ogle. Like he's really he's enjoying watching. This is like, I just want to watch. Like.
That's very true. He's just there to have a little bit of an ogle and like touch himself in the corner.
yeah. And it all looks so Dutch because like we've seen the beach is like very busy, but this section of the beach is very barren. So you got a woman out by herself, and 2 guys appear and start like, and the way he sidles up next to her with this kind of like humorous walk.
Oh, it's a bit predatory though. The whole thing, isn't it?
The whole thing. If you saw this in the street, you would be like. You'd feel the need to step in or something. You'd be like, no, you can't do that. You can't go around harassing people like this. Is horrible what you're doing, man. But
you know what's a shame, right? You should step in a situation like that. But for instance, my ex, her brother did that and got the shit kicked out of him for it.
Oh,
he got battered. And it's like, holy fuck, you try and do something nice for someone and he ended up in hospital.
I mean, that was just happened where a mutual friend of ours. At the Christmas party we had, obviously, like, a couple of months ago. But he showed up as like 2 black guys. And he's just like, yeah, I tried to step in an argument last night between co-workers, like people in his office.
That's even weirder. That someone you're going to have to see.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy got fired and stuff afterwards.
Yeah, but in his mind, it's like, oh, this is someone I'm going to see on Monday.
Yeah. And the fact that he's like so late into it, they gave him 2 black eyes. It's like, Jesus Christ. And he's all fine now, but it's just like, that day he's like, I'm pretty traumatized by it. It was horrible. Like the guy just rained blows upon me. It was terrifying.
But despite us saying this, don't let us put you off stepping in, because you know what? Even if you do get beaten up, in a weird way, it's for the greater good. You're sending a good message and you're helping someone.
Well, maybe we're misjudging Jack, and maybe that's what he's trying to do. Because he does haul Angelo out of the ladies' leader. Maybe he's there like, I'm trying to he's just waiting for a moment to speak because I can't quite get in there. Like he's trying to stop it, but he's just terrible at it.
He's powerless. He's trying so hard.
But yeah, so Tom.
Hang on a minute. They're both topless. Take a drink.
Oh, of course. But yet comes over and is like, excuse me, madame, may I have a kiss, please? He stumbles over the please, which again is another one of those like, take 2, YK, come on, man.
Maybe it's the character, maybe he does this to every woman. He's not used to saying please. He just forces himself on them.
Well, here's the question now, though. You mentioned there last minute on the commentary. They say none of these people on the beach were professional actors. This woman has to be.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't mention in the commentary if they are. These ones have to be. I think they mean the ones they just got shots of,
Yeah, because or maybe she is, but then maybe the woman lying down there aren't. It all feels very like it's on a very, very slippery slope. This is why like the police were patrolling the beach. It's like, we got that friggin' nudist guy hanging around. Now we got YK Matt. That'd be the thing then, hearing like, okay, this guy's down on the beach filming illegally. And then you're just like, oh, go down and round them up. It's like, but one of them is Grandmaster of Taekwondo. YK Kim.
How do you get him? Yeah.
That's why that guy was packing heat in the last minute. He's like, well, I'm not going down there freaking empty-handed.
Yeah, you need your own weapon. Kim is a weapon. I need my weapon.
Yeah. I did note actually, too, because we were saying there last minute that Angelo wasn't a member of YK Kim's, at the time. Wasn't a member of the Taekwondo school or whatever we call. Yeah. And in that interview I was listening to with Jane, she was saying like, yeah, it was really funny because everybody loved YK Kim, but apparently he's very strict on sets. He's a real like, we're getting things done.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Like we're doing it proper. This is a movie.
They had a whole thing shot in 6 weeks. So every scene of this was done in 6 weeks. So it was like, well, we have got not the time or the money to waste.
That is actually impressive. I know people make fun of this movie, but we've defended it genuinely.
Yeah.
And that is another great defense of it. Like they managed to turn a movie out like this in 6 weeks. Yeah. Well, not turn it out. They had to then do post, but that's impressive.
Yeah, because some people come down and say, yeah, I'm doing a movie. I'll be there for 3 months. It's like you never know how long it's going to take. But I love the one thing they're saying, because he wasn't part of it. They go down, and every time someone was late or messed up, YK Kim, because they were all his students, the people working on it, he would make them do press-ups. So if you were late, he'd be like, no, down on the floor and do press-ups. And he kept trying to do it with both Angelo and Jane, and because they weren't students, they were like, fuck off.
Like, whereas the students would be like, yeah, okay, this is part of my training. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they'll be like, oh, I'm not going to question Grandmaster Kim. Of course I won't. But they were just like, get out of here, asshole. I'm not doing that.
I would kind of want to do it for a laugh, even though I could probably only do a couple.
Although it is, again, to be fair, maybe to Angelo, I guess he's not intimidated because he's like, a Grandmaster of Taekwondo is telling you, you're messing up my shoot by being late. Get down and do 20 push-ups or whatever. And been like, no. It's just like, this guy could end me very, very quickly here. But
he'd have the law on his side backing him up.
Yeah, but they never know. Then he's gonna get friggin' YK's toes on his nose. He'll get that treatment.
I can't believe we're this far into the movie and there's been no toe nose action.
Oh, it's coming. We're hurtling towards toe nose.
I know, but it's such an iconic bit. You assume it happens all the time.
I think it only happens like the one time in the movie or something.
I think there's a second occurrance.
I think it happens in one of their training and then it happens on stage, I believe. Yeah, so yeah, there's at least two. But there's a man who needs. I like to think maybe, because we never see Mark engaging in any of this behavior. I think maybe the scene after this, I believe, is them in training. Yeah. So I like to think he was watching this and was just like, "This is a disgrace. Like I brought you down for wholesome, cheering up, gym, beach fun.
It was meant to be like a family time."
Yeah, and he's, I wasn't there shouting out abuses to those women, and I wasn't there over like asking for a kiss and stuff like that.
Oh,
You
not
assholes.
just asking for a kiss. When she clearly doesn't want one, he's like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Like, what?
He's leaning in. It's really this like, and the only thing is like he must be getting off on this. The idea that she's just so disgusted by him. That's good. You can't think this is going well, you know?
No, she doesn't give him any signals that it's like, yeah, it's going to happen.
But I think it's because then, of course, he goes in, he just has a little lip pucker, and she pushes him, and then he falls. Like, I don't know what I think about as those women. I'd be angry at her as well because I'd be like, you pushed the guy into me. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Into my tits.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. This whole section is like Benny Hill or Carry On.
Oh, it's that? Yeah. Oh, you could definitely re-edit this. Like an 80s synth and guitar-led version of the Benny Hill theme to make it sound like Dragon Sound.
Hell yeah. And that's a reference we don't have to explain because apparently Americans seem to like Benny Hill more than we do.
Yeah, Benny Hill is like properly iconic. Well, the people know that music. And they know, running around chasing women and speeded up footage. That's what it is. So he goes. The thing is, I don't think it is all very pre-planned. Like, he was like, I'm going to make sure to go over, just as she's passing those women, then I'm going to make my move. And she's going to push me. And no matter what level of force the push is, I'm going to fall back into these women because I'm going to make myself fall back into these women.
It doesn't look that powerful, and he's a martial arts expert.
Yeah. Although he's not been doing his push-ups, as we know. But no, I genuinely think this is all his scheme. It's like, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna use his. If she, like, friggin' taps me with like the end of a finger, I'm gonna fly backwards into these women. Like,
what makes me laugh so much as well is they're all these sunbathing women. They gang up on him and call him an asshole. Yet they don't seem that annoyed. They playfully push and tug him while smiling and almost giggling. This is playing into his fantasy.
Yes.
This feels very sexual, doesn't it? It's like, it's playful. They're not actually like angry and hitting him like, get the fuck out of here, you bitch. It's all
It's we love you, Tom. Make love to me, Tom, please. I love they start doing the wavy lines and they cut back to Tom and sitting in the back of the car. This is him imagining what he's going to do.
It's his dream of what he wants.
He actually goes and does it and he just comes back with like missing teeth. He's like, oh, it didn't go to plan, guys.
It's so ridiculous. It's like, it feels like I'm watching a fetish flick.
Actually, as you rightly do point out, like, they are all smiling and it all seems good fun. What I would posit probably actually happened is that this was like a semi-improv scene, and they went up to the women going like, "Oh, if we shot this, would you ladies want to be in this scene?" And they're like, "Sure, yeah, we'll be in your movie and stuff." And so this is all like, "Oh yeah," and then they went home that night like, "Oh, the Taekwondo guy was filming a thing, and then this guy asked us to do, and we're going to be in a movie, guys." And
1,000% agree. Like, I think that the giggling and the smiling and the laughter, that says it all. They're not acting.
Yeah.
It's them just being like, "Oh, this is silly," isn't it?
Maybe it was just like Jack and Tom, like Angelo and Joseph Diamond, like, "Oh, we shot this footage independently." Like, that's why like it looks like it's a different. There's not as many people around the beach and stuff, and they came back like, "Why, Kay? Look what we got."
It was to get away with it legally. Like, "Oh no, it's part of the movie."
He's like, "This isn't in the script." It's like, no, we thought we'd do it by ourselves. It's like, were you just looking to get rolling around and random women you found on the beach? Like, it's for a movie, YK. This is how you win the game.
Yeah, the movie. As well, I fucking love how Jack drags him away from this vicious assault like it's life and death. He's like, "Come on, Tom, let's go."
Everything about it, I was like, this guy's supposed to know how to fight. It's like, you can hop back up from this. This shouldn't be bothering you, but no, he is prolonging every second of this.
Oh, he loves it.
And then, we have a shot, Jack on his haunches, like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, kid." Like, he's hoping for, like, a nip slip or something. Like, he's really, like, "Yeah, that's right. I'm going to lock this in the memory vault."
Yeah, like people who are really into, again, no shame, but people who are really into, videos of ladies wrestling. I don't mean, like, WWE and AEW. I mean, like, there's a fetish side to this where it's like you can pay for custom videos of women sort of wrestling each other,
This will
shall
be-
we say?
Yeah, or now there's going to be like an ASMR video where
Yeah.
it's like you've been pushed onto women on the beach, and you're an '80s bemolded, mustachioed rock star, quote unquote.
Oh, if only I was.
Yes, and then so it's just like a woman leaning a microphone going, "Get out of here, jerk! You know, get off us."
My favorite thing in ASMR is when they're like tapping the mic and stuff like. Or they'll be like,
There's a couple of people I know too, though. I was like, oh, the people you see them pop up on YouTube going, "Please stop asking me to do ASMR. I'm not gonna." So in the comments they're just like, "Would you please do an ASMR video?" Like, no, you pervert, get out of here.
I hate it when you get people going, it's not a sexual thing. It like just does this thing to your brain. I'm like, yeah, we know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like, well, there are already many people doing it. Why are you asking me? It's because there's obviously a sexual element, and you want me to be involved in it.
Yep, exactly.
It's the new version of "show us your feet." Like that's it. And that happens. Many YouTubers like, "Oh yeah, show us your feet." And it's like, no, I know what you're up to, foot asshole. Like, you think I was born yesterday?
Feet are the new cool thing, aren't they? Well, I suppose it was. What is it? What is it now? I don't know. What are the kids into? Are they into feet?
I think feet they'll outlive us all, John. I wonder though if Angelo's on Wiki Feet from these scenes.
I haven't checked Wiki Feet out for this movie. Maybe YK Kim's on there.
Oh God, there must be so many people of like, oh, if YK Kim was a woman, this would be the greatest film of all time.
The things he can do with those toes.
It's just like, how does it go? I never think I started questioning myself. I honestly did watching YK Kim.
Just slap a wig on him and it's fine.
Yeah. That's I would imagine there must be so many people who are like, oh. Or if you're a bi or a gay guy watching this, you're just like, jackpot! This is fantastic.
The ultimate foot job.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Where the hell was I with this? Oh, I love it when he drags him away, all panicked, because it reminded me of Lancelot rescuing Galahad in the Holy Grail. He's like, well, I could maybe face a little bit of peril. No.
And the whole thing seems like such a disaster because, obviously, it's almost as if Tom is trying to claw his way back into the women.
Yeah.
So, it feels like he has to drag him like 5 times to try to get him out of there.
It's like, no, I can take them, honest. It's hilarious. It's awful but brilliant all at once.
It's just like, this is the guy, Dexys couldn't beat this guy, but the random women lying on the beach can knock the crap out of him. He's definitely in it. He's getting something out of this.
He doesn't want to hit a lady, but there's more to it than that.
But it's just him rolling around there, all throwing the shoes at him and stuff.
The shoes, that made me think of the guy throwing the shoe at George Bush. Remember that? That was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Classic moment in world history.
No, I always remember one time in university, we're in the computer lab, and someone had someone was lending someone a USB stick, and he just took it out and walked away. And he's just like, "Did you save everything on the stick?" Because back in the day, it used to be you have to make sure everything's properly closed down before taking a USB stick out. Because
if you just pulled it out, you could lose everything.
Yeah. And so the guy's like, "No, I didn't." And he's just like, the guy was so angry. He's like, "Oh God damn it!" And he just took off his shoe and threw it across the room.
Holy shit!
He was play angry, but he was just like, "What are you doing, man? You idiot!" Like.
I'm one of those people. I get very angry, but I don't get physical with anger. I don't throw things or break things. I get exasperated.
Yeah. Although I think it's in also in What's Love Got to Do with It? The Ike and Tina Turner movie.
What's love got to do?
Weirdly has a rom-com out with Lily James called What's Love Got to Do with It. It's like, that's already a name.
That's a thing. You can't call your movie that.
Not only is it like a very, very well-known song, it's the name of the Tina Turner biopic. Like, that's what you can't steal that.
No.
It's like me coming around, it's like, I've written a rom-com. It's called, Girls, the story of Motley Crue. Like,
it's about me.
Yeah, it's just about like a white girl who falls in love with a. But
I mean, I agree with you. You can't steal that. But I'm someone whose stage name is Cantina Turner, so I've stolen that.
But fair though, you're doing a play. If they had any kind of a play on the title, I would have no problem. But no, about the finish of the thought, I do recall there's a bit of, there's obviously several scenes of horrific abuse and lots of the other, because it's all about the abusive relationship between Tina and Ike Turner.
Yeah.
But I always remember thinking it was weird at one point where like she slaps Ike, and his instant thing is like he starts trying to pull off his cowboy boot to hit her with.
Oh,
and I was like, that's your go-to move, is like then whip off your cowboy boots. Like, all right, Ike, I guess I wouldn't have gone there, but it was Lawrence Fishburne playing it. Maybe Lawrence Fishburne was like, well, what I would do was I would take off my boot. But
maybe that's what it is. Because I mean, I imagine. Oh, this is a really dark place to go, isn't it? I imagine he'd just given her a backhand,
Oh no, he does it several times as well. Maybe he's just trying to, let's have the same scenes over and over. I got to vary, throw in some.
True. I mean,
maybe he's like, I saw this movie, Miami Connection. They had a ninja expert getting felled by women throwing shoes at him. He couldn't get away. Like,
it was the best thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it's like, it does look like these shoes seem as if they're doing damage to him or something. He's really
That's the first bit where it seems like it's not playful anymore. It's like genuinely like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, gee,
Still, you can still hear the sirens in the distance and stuff. Like, they're onto us.
Cheese it.
Yeah, it's like the lifeguards finally turned around. It's like, there's that asshole again. Come here, you just have to climb down from that's what the thing though. Like I guess you always saw it in Baywatch. They always jump down. It always looked very dramatic. Jump down and run across the beach. But like, it's like, how tall is it? That's too tall. I'm gonna carefully climb down and then run after the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but then we cut to John and Jane smooching. I think you talked about that earlier. Smooching in the water, which I found quite interesting.
This was all very strange to me. Yeah, this is like, well, we started filming this at like 7 a.m. Like we were there that long, we couldn't get the shot right, so the tide came back in.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's a bit weird because maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know, because I was born in '86, so I was going to the beach. I was a little bit older. But we'd go to the beach on a what did you call it? It was like a float called, what was it called? A lilo.
Oh yeah.
It's like an inflatable bed, basically, that you take. If they were on that, I could understand. But look at it. They're not on that. They're on what looks just like a fucking chair.
It's like a thing. Yeah, it's like a deck chair. It's like it's no one goes, let's take the deck chair out into the water and just sit there. Like, no, that's stupid.
Get a lilo, snog and bang on the lilo. Okay, I kind of get that.
I can imagine they were trying to go for like a from here to eternity thing, where you're kissing on the beach and the waves are coming up, but they couldn't get the angle right.
Yeah.
And then Jane couldn't arch her back that way or something. So like, bring that chair over, put that underneath there. It's like, well, won't people start questioning why they're in a chair in the middle of the water? No, it's fine. It's fine.
They'll assume it's a lilo.
But then it goes on for so long as well. It's like, this starts to feel like we shouldn't be watching this. This is like too intimate. Yeah.
Didn't you feel awkward watching it? I felt awkward watching it, especially in isolation.
Oh, yeah, because it's a lengthy one shot, then it cuts to another angle, and then that goes on for too long. And then it cuts back to the first angle. And you're like, and it's at least, actually we'll try to time how long this is, because it must be like 20 seconds or something.
I can tell you the exact amount of time. 19 seconds.
19 seconds? No, 19.
No, 19.
That's one of the lines from that song.
It's one of the only ones I remember off the top of my head. But no, you're right. Like, I think the cameraman, let's pretend the cameraman's a character. The cameraman feels awkward too, because then he cuts to a shot of some lovely birds.
Well, John, we call them women.
Some lovely birds, down the beach.
Friggin' Rick Mail and Bottom over here.
They have smashing blouses on.
Oh, I'm great. That was Angelo's line. Like, excuse me, madame, you have a smashing blouse on.
It's very Rick Mail and Bottom behaviour, actually.
It's 100%. I can totally imagine Richie and Bottom trying this, but and I can totally imagine him getting knocked backwards, but he'd get knocked backwards into Eddie, and then it would sprout into them like beating each other with frying pans or something.
Oh God.
But no, it's very, and actually this makes sense because I listened to that interview with Jane like a couple weeks ago before looking at this minute. And I noted she said like, yeah, it was a bit uncomfortable because apparently she and Angelo, I don't know if we ever did clarify this. I think we were all like, oh, I wonder how did they meet on the film or whatever. No, they were dating when they did the movie.
Yes.
When they were brought in. Then they got engaged during the movie. And then they got married after the movie, were married for 11 years, and then separated, but apparently they're still very good friends and stuff.
I respect that. That is such a hard thing to do. I don't think I could be friends after that connection with someone.
Yeah, well, you know, friends for eternity when you're on Miami Connection, though.
They made that bond.
Yeah, but no, she notes like, yeah, she's like, oh yeah, there's a kissing scene on the beach that's like, it was very awkward because Angelo was cool with it because like he was part of the crew and stuff, but the guy playing John, his girlfriend, was very, very angry that the scene was in there, and they had to like basically trick her into going away so they could shoot this bit. And I remember like thinking like, well, I have a vague memory of them kissing. They're just gonna smooch in the car. It's okay. And then seeing this minute, I was like, oh no, I get this. Like this is very, because it is very like sexy. It's like
it's too much, isn't it? You don't need it. Yeah,
he's properly like arms around her. She's wet in a bikini. And they're just lip locked for those. They never come up for air in those 19 seconds. They're eternal. To be fair, it's a very chaste kiss. If you look at it, it looks like lips are tightly pursed, and they're not like there's no tongue involved or anything. But it does look like they're getting hot and heavy. Like it's really like they probably have that water wasn't there when they started kissing. maybe that's the point they're going for. It's like no, the tide has come in, but they're so dedicated to each other they're not even noticed. Maybe that was supposed to be the joke or something. But
they're that into it.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting that you say, you know, Angelo was okay with it. Because maybe he said, I'm okay with it. But the crew, they bring this up in the commentary track, they were concerned that he wouldn't be. So maybe he said, I am, but they were like, is he though? You know. So we may have talked about this in our preview episodes, you know, Minute Zero. But they said how they tried to keep Angelo and Kathy apart. Yeah. Just in case there was some kind of jealousy going on. Any respective scenes with the opposite sex.
Although you think they would just like, well, I just hire him to play this guy then.
Well, that would make more sense.
Although I guess then maybe it'd be like, no, but then he has to be the leader of the band. It's like, well, just make him the leader of the band. Like, it's what, you can get rid of one of the characters. Like, there's no reason that there has to be two of them, you know?
Well, this is the classic bit, though, where to get him... Again, it's not that he was annoyed. It's because they were worried he might get annoyed, just in case. So they sent him off to buy beer while they shot the kid.
I thought they'd be like, oh, they threw together a scene of like, oh, Angelo, go over to those women and harass them.
To make him feel better about it.
And then they pay these women all $50 to let him fall on top of them and then roll around and stuff.
Maybe that was the compromise, yeah. Like, well, you get to kiss this guy. I want something for me.
Although I say pay those women, I guaranteed those women were not paid for that scene either. Like,
I don't think anyone was paid for this fucking movie, even the stars.
Yeah. Although again, in that interview with Jane, she talks about like not only was she like, oh, I was I played that part. I was also the makeup girl, so I did everybody's makeup for them. I was also the caterer, so I had to go out and order 300 hamburgers every day for the entire crew. It's like 300. Like, imagine going in every day for 6 weeks to the same place and been like 300 hamburgers, please.
It's like okay, that'll be like 8 hours.
Yeah, that's really it would be like. That'd be like what's the name of the uncle again? Because like all the crew will come out as like 300 hamburgers. Yeah, Uncle Song like coming out with 300 hamburgers. The crew like, oh Christ, we're starving. Gulping down the red cup Coke or whatever they're having there.
Oh, poor Uncle Song. Don't make him work. That's why the director left. They were making him do it.
But I did also, though, because apparently Jane still lives on. This is all filmed, of course, on Daytona Beach. And I say on Daytona Beach. I didn't really looked it up. I was like, oh, let's look up to see if there's any interesting history. Daytona Beach is a city.
Oh.
It's like, because like, it says like, yeah, Daytona Beach or simply Daytona. But Daytona Beach is a coastal resort city in East Central Florida.
Oh, okay. I've heard of Daytona. I assume that was the city and the beach was the beach there.
Oh, yeah, totally. That's what I said. But all the official thing is like, it's called City of Daytona Beach. It's like, oh, wow. Oh. It feels like you need Rick Ollier there to be like the whole beach is one city or something.
Or the whole city's one beach. You can do it either way.
Yeah. But just to see if there was any but most of it is just like, oh yeah, it's a big beach. It's stuff they filmed Miami Connection there, and Jane and Jim still live in the area.
Oh, so not forgetting their roots, they're real G's.
Yeah. But so noted some notable people who come from Daytona Beach, regular human beach. So the Allman Brothers apparently are Daytona Beach residents.
Okay.
Or was. I'm pretty sure they're both dead now. But
I think so. Again, correct us if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're dead, right?
Yeah. Danielle Harris. One of my favorites, Danielle Harris, of course, was little Jamie in Halloween 4 and 5.
I was thinking, why do I know that name? There you go.
Yeah, she's one of those ones too. Like she's great. She's great fun as a person, but you always think of her like. Well, I think she was like Liza Thornberry and stuff. She had a career. Like Danielle Harris been around. Well, was she? Maybe that was Lacey Chabert. I always get them mixed up. But Danielle Harris has done voice work and stuff like that. And she's. Yeah. But I always think of her as little Jamie. Like, oh, she was like a little kid in the Halloween movies. You know, she was the one Laurie Strode's niece or daughter or something. Can't remember when they did. I think it was she was told she was her niece and then found out that it was actually her mom or something. But and then at the end of Halloween 4, she just turns into a killer for some reason. And then the next movie they forget that it happened.
I know there's not a lot of consistency, but that actively annoyed me. I was just like, come on, you can't make such a big storyline moment and then go, no, forget that.
But seeing it, Danielle Harris, actually she aged up through many things. She's an urban legend. I remember she's like the goth roommate who gets she's a complete asshole to Alicia Witt, and then she gets killed by the murderer comes in, and the whole Danielle Harris's whole character bit is that she has really loud sex with her boyfriend. So the killer comes in and just puts the hand over Danielle Harris's mouth and is viciously killing her. And then Alicia Witt just thinks she's having rampant sex next door. And it's
because that's what she always does.
But yeah, the thing is, though, it's every time you see Danielle Harris now, she's always posing on Instagram and stuff, covered in tattoos and always in bikinis and stuff. And it's very sexy, but all the time you're like, it's little Jamie from Halloween. I feel wrong. It's very attractive, but it's I don't want to think about Jamie from Halloween that way.
It is weird that when you discover someone as a kid and then once they're older, you're like, you can't view them almost as an adult.
Yeah. It's just very, there's just some people who are Maisie Williams now growing up, oh, she's an adult woman now. It's no, she's still, I saw her when she was 11 for a long time. And I can't move past that. It's rigid in my head,
That's why I always find it weird when you see pictures of your partner as a kid, their mum will show you, oh, look at this. It's that's now I feel weird. I feel awkward now.
yeah. But so I'm always just I'm sure Danielle Harris is out on Daytona Beach, the skimpiest of bikinis. I'm no, I have a mental image of you in a little clown suit from Halloween 4 when you were 10.
And that's how you should stay.
I'm sure you're a lovely lady, but stop it. But then also Kevin Nash, professional wrestler.
The wrestler Kevin, holy fuck. Yeah, one of my favorites of all time. Hell yeah, too sweet.
Yeah, he is a Daytona Beach native. Yeah. And then we have...
I am literally wearing one of his shirts right now.
Really? Oh, there you go. Crazy coincidence.
Yeah. I'm wearing, it's the New World Order shirt, but it's not just any New World Order shirt. It's the side faction he created called the Wolf Pack. I'm wearing it right now, motherfuckers.
Oh, it's him.
Don't turn your back on the Wolf Pack. You might wind up in a body bag. Yeah.
You never know. Maybe in the background, John, he could be there. You never know. Maybe Kevin Nash is lurking around there somewhere. Denzel Washington, apparently, from Daytona Beach. As is Bob Ross, famous.
Oh, that painter.
Yeah. The guy that played Owen Wilson's playing them in a biopic, I believe.
I'm interested in that because Bob Ross wasn't a thing over here, but he's become a thing now because of the memes.
He was weird. He was in Ireland. They always RT1 every Saturday morning would show Bob Ross, and so I was always oh, that guy, yeah. And I was always very sad because I was when eventually I got the internet, I was oh yeah, that guy. I wonder what he's up to these days. It's he died in 1992 or something. I was oh, he's long dead.
He was dead when you were watching him.
Yeah, he was. He was actively dead at the time. And then, of course, everyone's favorite Daytona Beach resident, Aileen Wuornos, famous serial killer from Daytona Beach. So.
Oh, the best of all. Yeah, let's make a T-shirt of all these legends of Daytona Beach.
You should do, yeah.
I said that as a joke, but now I want to do it.
Well, Kevin Nash, friggin' Danielle Harris, and then Aileen Wuornos. Why not? You have Aileen dressed up in Danielle Harris's clown suit with the knife in her hand, like the end of Halloween 4. It writes itself, this T-shirt.
Oh, But I mean, we need to. I have to just say this because as of recording, it's quite recent. Kevin Nash is a podcaster. That's what he does.
He's not covering Miami Connection 1 minute at a time.
He is. No, he's a podcaster, and he was podcasting with his son. But unfortunately, his son recently passed away, so he's been quite upset. So I'm sure you're not listening, Kevin, but much love to you. He was it shook him a lot. Like, he was tweeting about having a gun to his head and stuff, and people were like, "Whoa, Christ. Kevin, don't be saying that." Fuck.
Yeah. Respect to Kevin Nash. Hope he's doing better. Go back home. Go back to Daytona Beach. Hang out. Just try to unwind while you're there, I guess. But
absolutely, because clearly it's a nice time. It'll take your mind off it.
Yeah, it must be so weird coming from a place like this, because most people, just because you grow up there and you become sick of it, you end up hating your hometown for a long time. Yeah. So you imagine growing up and it's a beach paradise. And just be like, I hate it.
I'm moving to Alaska.
I think that's probably why Danielle Harris became a goth for so many years. She's like, I don't like the beach. I want to get away from it and stuff. But
I get it though, understandable. You never fully appreciate the place you're from, and even the place you live. I love living in Liverpool. But a few years ago, just before COVID, actually, I was planning something. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do all the tourist shit. Because I don't do any of that. I don't know the joy people have of seeing the sights. Because it's I just live here.
Yeah. Oh, no, totally. Yeah, that's one of the few times I've had to show people around where I'm just like, I can tell you where they filmed the Batman. Yeah. I've been there. But then always most of the time when people come over to visit, I'm like, you want to do the touristy stuff? You go do that by yourself. I can't be bothered with that.
I recommend doing it. It was only a few years ago. I went to the cathedral and stuff, and that was great.
Oh, I did do it years ago. That's the thing. I came over when I was first in Liverpool. I was like, I've seen the cathedrals. I've seen lovely city, great city. There's a reason people come to it. But it's just people come over. It's I'm not doing that.
Once you've done it, you've done it. Yeah.
Although I did for the first time, I saw John Lennon's old house just the other week.
Oh.
And it's one of those things. It's as disappointing as you would assume because
he didn't come from any money or anything, did he?
Yeah, it's that thing. I was walking back from getting an ultrasound done from the weird thing with my kidneys, whatever's happening there, and I decided to walk back because it's I've never been in this neighborhood before. And I just I'm cooped up in the house all day from doing friggin' working from home and stuff. I'll walk back. And as I was going, I was like, I better Google Maps this. And then it has there's John Lennon's house. It's coming up right now. I was like, holy Christ. And it was one of those things walking down this little nothing street. And then Strawberry Fields is right around the corner.
Yep.
And then the Eleanor Rigby house is right down from there.
I know exactly where you were then. Yeah, I've been there. Yep.
Yeah, and he's walking down. Says, it's just a street. It is nothing special about it. They haven't even tried to make it look. You think now they're we got to tourist it up and stuff and make it look. It's it looks. You look at John Lennon's old house, it looks like somebody's house.
I kind of respect that though. That they don't want to ruin the vibe of the area. But at the same time, I think Liverpool massively underutilizes the Beatles. I know that sounds crazy because that's all they go on about. But really, what is there for Beatles tourists? There's the Beatles tour, which is a bit shit.
Yeah, it's all the places we named it after a thing, but we didn't think people were going to drastically romanticize the thing until they found out that Strawberry Fields is just it's a building.
It's not
just a
anything
thing in a corner.
Special. No.
Yeah.
So I think they need to put some work into making things for the tourists, which they have started doing. They've made a new statue of John Lennon. Okay, step one. But what Penny Lane, for instance. Why isn't Penny Lane just going on about the fucking Beatles all the time? Because it'll make money. Yeah,
but there's a whole thing. Just there last summer, I went to Anfield Stadium for the first time. And Anfield Stadium is it's the big Liverpool football stadium. Get there. It's so expensive. So much money has been poured into it. The surrounding area is a dump.
Yeah, and I don't want to be mean to people, but it's a fucking shithole.
We know a guy who comes from Anfield. And I said to him, I was like, I don't want to be, but I was a bit shocked at how crap the area is. He's no, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I was like, well, why don't they do it up? Tourists are coming over. Surely they should do up that area. And he's like, oh, they should do, but they won't.
And the club is what's making money. So surely they should be putting money back into the area.
Yeah, there should be little boutiques, and there should be a really revitalized area. This is what city regeneration is all around. But no.
Well, it says it all. We won't go too political, but it's all government related. The government don't want to fund the fucking north.
I do wonder, though, if we went to Daytona Beach, you could like, oh, there's Denzel Washington's house. As a giant animatronic of him doing that, like, relief gasp. That the people don't know me. If you do know me, you know my favorite thing in the world is that gif of Denzel Washington, like, grabbing his heart and going, oh.
Oh, you send me that all the time.
Also, anytime someone relieves anything, or I get a little bit of good news, it's like, all right, this calls for a Denzel. And sending that gif. Because every time I watch Fallen, I'm like, here it comes. This is the scene. He's done it. He did the gif.
What a legend. What
but it's just like a giant animatronic of him doing that outside his house. And Aileen Wuorow's house is down the street, and it's like a trucker getting his beheaded or something.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh. Danielle Harris is just a giant statue of her in a clown outfit.
I'm up for this. This is brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I think in America they probably would do that because they would be like, yeah, we're freaking damn right. We're going to take advantage of the celebrities that lived here and stuff. So
do it. Why not? Make money. You know, use them like they used you.
Like, I know people just get fed up of where they're from, though. Because I was talking to someone recently who's moved over to England. And she's talking about, like, oh, I love it so much. Like, just all the things you can do here, like public transportation. And just having everything to hand, like all the shops are to hand. I love going out and just seeing people in the street and stuff. And I was like, but yeah, then she comes from Ohio. Oh, I was like, Ohio is like exotic to me because it's like, it's America. And she was just like, Ohio is a dump. It's horrible. And I was like, yeah, there's going to be a big movies by minutes meetup in Indiana. And she's like, Indiana is just like Ohio. That's just like friggin' Delaware. It's just like all those middle states. They're all terrible. It's just like,
they all sound kind of cool to us. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I was like, to me, that's like it's like a foreign exotic land. And she's like, no, it's awful. So it's like, but I still kind of, although to be fair, when they announced that they were doing a movies by minutes meetup in Indiana, I was a bit like, because I've been wanting to go every year. And when I was in like Philadelphia and Chicago, I was like, oh, great. And then Indiana's just like, yeah, what's there? Like, well, but see, couldn't you put in like Washington or something? That's like
Washington's
somewhere.
Shit. My parents lived there. They hated it. Well, they loved America in general, but they didn't like where they lived.
Well, Daytona Beach. Maybe we should be vying next year. Go to Denzel Washington's house at Daytona Beach. The thing about those guys, some of them are covering Highlander, and they were joking around saying maybe we should do it in Scotland next year. It's like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you should come to Scotland because it's like a friggin' 40-minute drive up the road from me. And then I'll be there in no time.
And Scotland's boss, I mean, I say that, I've only been to Edinburgh, although I am going to Glasgow soon with the band. So. Always wanted to go to Glasgow because people say to me, Glasgow's like Edinburgh, but if it wasn't pretentious.
I thought I always heard that Glasgow is just like, it's the violent version of Edinburgh, basically.
Yeah, like Liverpool, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I love Scotland. So I was like, yes, please do come. But I think they were joking. It's like, why joke about it? Just freaking do it. But
do it.
Yeah.
But you know what you need to do as well, listeners, in the background here, as we see like the cool birds and stuff, it then cuts. There's a topless dude in the background, so take a drink.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how much you want to cover now, because then we do have an abrupt cut to people pumping iron, but that's going to be like the next scene. So
yeah, we won't go too much into that then. All I'll say is, well, we'll delve more into this. I was perplexed that she was working out in jeans. They do look a bit stretchy, so I can maybe let it slide. But as we're going to see, she might not be the only one doing this.
My only other note for this minute is that I am slightly devastated after all the footage of Jane and John smooching. That the scene should have ended with like it cutting up to like on the lifeguard tower, Jeff with like sun cream across his nose and a little hat, watching them through binoculars. Yeah. The camera pans in, it's like him lowering the binoculars with his furious face. Like, oh, piece of shit. And they'll be, Dexy's will be like, no, that's my, you son of a bitch, you stole my life.
Oh, God.
No. Jeff and Dexy's got together. It'll be like that episode of Broad City where Alana hooks up with Alia Shawkat.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the two of the guys, they end up having sex. It's like, is that my hand? It's just two men just look exactly alike.
I loved that so much because they do kind of have the same vibe, and I like that was the gimmick of the episode.
Oh, yeah, I remember even before that episode came out, like Alana Glazer saying when she met Abby Jacobson, they were in like the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Yeah.
And Abby Jacobson was like, yeah, I thought you were the girl from Arrested Development. And I was like, oh, she's fallen on hard times. Like, she's like been bumped down to this.
She's come back to UCB.
And then she had to be like, yeah, no, I'm a different person. And then it goes, in fact, yeah, Ali Shawkat obviously heard about this. It's like, yeah, I'll be in the show. That sounds like great fun.
That's amazing. Oh, the only other thing I got about this, I decided in this minute to look up the gym. So I looked for all gyms currently, obviously not back then. You know, they could have been, but it was hard to look what was there back then. Currently operating around Daytona Beach. So we've got Crunch Fitness, Eagle Fitness, Planet Fitness, Younger You Fitness, and a branch of the legendary Gold's Gym.
Oh, nice.
So I like to think it's Gold's Gym. I'll tell you next minute what it actually is. But let's pretend that in the world of the movie, they're in a Gold's Gym. Because that's where all the legends would work out in the like the California version. You know, Hulk Hogan, for instance.
Yeah, that's where we never made the connection there last minute of talking about Hulk Hogan's ass for so long. We never even thought, you don't get buns like that down at the bakery.
That's where he built that ass. Down
That's
at
him in Gold's Gym, just going, yeah, brother, you don't get buns like these out of the bakery.
Isn't that where Arnold used to go as well? Gold's.
Yeah. Oh, the thing is, I'd love to be in there for like a minute, but I bet you it'd be horrible hanging around. There'd be so much competition.
It'll be the super gym bros going there now.
Yeah, it'll be people just giving each other crap all day. It'll be so competitive all the time.
Like going to Muscle Beach, you know, in California. Because that's where, you know, Arnie and Hogan and that, they just go to the beach to pose.
Yeah.
You just stand and pose and people would watch you. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's all for save all that for next minute, though.
Yeah,
so.
We're going to delve into that, baby. So we will break the connection once more. So as usual, do talk to us. All the normal places, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up Miami Minutes. We're on all of them. And why don't you head to our network, Sleepy Charlie Media, on Patreon, where you can spend a couple of dollars and you can get some wonderful bonus material. I say that. It's mostly for our other show, Bat Minute, but not all. You know, it's just me and Niall chatting shit about whatever we want to talk about.
Also, I'm planning. I've just did a new logo for the next season of Bat Minute. I do have a thing in the works too for Miami Minutes that I'm hoping to get out soon. So hopefully you might be able to buy some new T-shirts and stuff eventually as well.
That's exciting. That's news to me. I'm hearing it live, listeners. That's exciting.
It's one of those things, like all these things I always have in my head for ages and ages. Like, I wonder when I'm going to get around to doing that. And then today I was just like, today's the day. I just did that logo in like an hour. It's like, there you go, it's done. I've been planning it for like a month. And then I got this Miami Minutes idea in my head. It's like, I'll go do that someday. So hopefully sometime like this week. And by the time you listeners have heard this, hopefully that will be available as a T-shirt or a Speedo or whatever you want.
I'll be wearing it immediately. I buy all of these things. So yes. But join us again in 1 week, because we'll be back with more Miami Minutes. Come on now, let's go.
Listen to me.